Great day, everybody. Hope everybody's having an amazing day. Today, I just wanted to tell a little bit about my story. I've noticed that on our way to 5,000 subscribers, we've gotten to a point now where we have a lot of new people in the community that's watching our videos, that's engaging with us, that's learning the art of finding discounted property consistently through off-market marketing practices, sales and negotiation tactics, and the art of finding partners to partner with to take these properties down or to sell them to make money with real estate with no money. So I wanted to take a little time, right? Since we have all of these new people that's engaging, I wanted to take a little time to kind of step back a little bit and just tell you guys my story, who I am, and how I've gotten to the place where I am today, okay? Now, I'm definitely, a big deal, okay? But I'm also a small fish. So as I'm telling you my story, I really want you to be inspired, to say, hey, I can do this too, if he could do it, I can do it. Because, I'm from 252, okay? I'm from a little small town, Plymouth, North Carolina, in North Carolina. Plymouth literally had, probably up until about 5 or 6 years ago, Plymouth only had like one stoplight, okay? Maybe a population of 3,000 to 5,000 people. So just a really small town, and that's where my family comes from. As I was growing up, I was really blessed to have the family that I had though. And as I was a child, my dad had me creating little businesses. He had me putting stuff up on a website for him. Even marched in the band through like elementary school up to North Carolina A&T Aggie Pride, okay? So I have literally all of this culture, okay? I have all of this culture that I'm riding on. And when I get to college, I'm riding on all of this culture, and I hit what I thought at the time was gonna be a plateau. I thought it was gonna be like, this is my dip, this is gonna take me down, okay? Because one thing, that my dad always, he mentioned subconsciously that that the more kids you have, the poorer you are, right? So if you have a lot of kids, you're just gonna be broke, and there's nothing that you can do about it, okay? Now, one thing I haven't mentioned at this point, I have 6 kids, okay? So they range from in the bun right now up to, it's 11, okay? So when we found out we were having our first child, me and my wife, girlfriend at the time, when we found out we were having our first child, this was junior year at A&T. Okay. This was a really good time for me because I actually, not necessarily found God because I knew who God was, but more so I began to practice my faith, okay? Because when you're in some kind of depression or feeling down about something, typically the way you come out of that is by learning how to encourage yourself, realizing what makes you happy, learning when you have mood swings and how you can change that instantly, and then you also grow into new skills and new habits during that time in order to come out of it, okay? I didn't realize this was going on at that time, but it did, okay? Literally, I started working at the car dealership. Coming into Crown Honda at this time was the best time, okay? It was the best time because the general manager, the sales guys, the sales managers, were literally the best, okay? I worked at the car dealership maybe for 5 years, and during that 5 years, they took everything that I had already had, okay? My willingness to work, my creativity, my anger that you have to harness, and then also my energy. They took all of that and literally just exploded each category, okay? So like I said, during this time, I went down a little bit. I realized I had to work on myself to come up. And then once I'm at the dealership, they start piling more of my skills on top of what I already have. At the dealership, I learned to be extremely punctual because if you were late to a meeting, you got sent home. And because you work on a commission, if you got sent home, you literally were from, affected dramatically. If you were late multiple times in 1 month, so you got sent home multiple times in 1 month. Me. So, I mean, literally my punctuality, changed a bunch. Okay. And then my seriousness for life. One thing that people like myself, alphas or just straight red logical thinkers, is a lot of times we think that we're too bold, we're too loud, and we're straight to the point. Okay. And sometimes that seems disrespectful to someone else who's talking to you or trying to get advice from you or looks up to you or whatever the case is. They think that you're doing something wrong because you're that way. Dealership said, hey, you're doing everything right. You're supposed to take it seriously. You're supposed to be aggressive. You're supposed to be direct and forward. But instead of doing it uncontrollably, you need to do it with awareness so you can control each and every skill that you have at the exact same time. Okay, now this is huge. Okay, this is huge because everything that we do, okay, every day, it's all about our mindset. Okay, this is probably my 3rd year now. I learned at that point, I had everything I needed to be successful. I just had to believe it, okay? And then I had to use it and work it, okay? I learned a lot about mindset at the dealership, okay? A lot about mindset. And at this point, I was making good money, okay? So right when I just started to get extremely confident, I'm getting really focused, of course, there comes a monetary point for that too, because you're trying to get better every day. So I started making more money at the dealership. Okay. Now, because I was making more money, I got some notice from the managers. Okay. Because I'm trying to move up. They want people to move up, right? I got some notice from the managers and I got the best advice from Starkey. Okay. Mike Starkey. He said, hey man, what are you doing with all of this money? I said, yo, I'm spending it. Happy, smiling, grinning, right? In my new car, I had like the newest Accord V6, that was lowered with 20-inch wheels on it. I like cars. Okay. And he's like, yo, bro, you gotta do something with your money. You can't just spend it. He said, you need to go buy a house. I'm like, yo, I don't even look pretty on, my credit ain't even pretty like that. I don't look good on paper at all. He said, don't matter. You can get qualified for a house. Go down to State Employees right now and get qualified. And with that one conversation, that led me into getting my first deal, at a discount and using bank funding to buy it, but also getting my second deal using bank funding to get it financed. Okay. And then that led to, I could do that. If I could buy one house a year, great. That's what I did on my first deals. But on the third one, I was like, I don't want to wait another year. I want to go ahead and buy my third house. So I went out and got a deal on the contract at the end of my neighborhood. And I got into a situation where I couldn't use bank financing anymore because of debt to income. Okay. Banks, they're looking at credit. They're looking at how much money you make. And they're also looking at the debt that you hold. So student loans, they holding your boy back. Right. And I'm thinking, how do I close on this deal? Now, the good news is, while I'm getting very centered, in life, I was a part of a great church, Bethany Fellowship, and I went to church explaining my situation about this house to one of the elders there to find out he works with HUD, okay, the Housing Urban Development, and he's an investor, okay? And he said, one thing that you can do is you can sell the rights to this contract. I said, what do you mean? He said, bro, you can just sell that piece of paper. You got it. You got the house on the contract. So by North Carolina standards, this house is going to be yours. Okay. That means you have the intent to close on it on this day. Okay. So that means you're going to be the owner on that day. You can sell that piece of paper to somebody else and they can take your place with that piece of paper and somebody be willing to pay you a fee. And he told me where to find those people. And that day literally changed my life. Okay. So I went down to this restaurant where he said I could find the local Guilford County REIA, Real Estate Investing Association. And just like he said, there were a bunch of people there who were investors. Some were new, some have been doing it for a long time, some were attorneys, you know. And surely enough, just like he said, at the end of the meeting, there was a spot that says, does anybody have a deal? Raise your hand, tell us about your deal. So I told them about the deal. Literally, people followed me to the house. And I had somebody willing to give me $1,000 right now to as like a deposit, as like a non-refundable deposit to take control of the contract, with the agreement that they were going to give me an additional $4,000 on the day of closing. And when this happened, I made my first $5,000 on this deal. Okay. When this happened, I realized that I didn't need my own money because I had been using banks at this point. I didn't need my own money to buy real estate. I literally could get paid to buy real estate. Something clicked and said, yo, I can do this. So while I'm at the dealership now, I'm starting to do these deals on the side, buying a house every single month. Okay. $5,000 check, $10,000 check, $15,000 checks. Okay. And I don't know what happened in me, but I knew at some point that I was going to have to leave the dealership. Okay. Now what happened next was like super key of why I went full time and I started going hard as I did. I had a buyer buying a deal, and he said he was probably about my age. I think I was 26. He was probably 28, but he told me he had 110 properties. Okay. Like I said, I'm 26. He's 28. He said, hey man, I got 110 properties. I get paid $150,000 a month just from my rent checks. And when he said that to me, we were 3 years apart. I'm like, I could be making $110,000 in 3 years every single month if I put my focus to it. So I learned how to market. Okay. I learned how to use my sales skills that I learned from being a child, okay, and being at the car dealership, of how to talk to people. And I learned this little strategy called wholesaling and real estate investing, okay? Now, that led into, a team that led into like 100 deals in 1 year. It led into like my first $500,000 a year, my first $750,000 a year, and then boom, my first $1 million year. And so I'm sharing with you my story because I literally came from a little town with 3,000 people, okay, to now owning, okay, 56 doors, okay, 56 houses, and have done over hundreds of transactions, hundreds of flips, okay? And I think that is something special. And I honestly think that if I can do it, you can do it. Okay. Literally, I've been in several fights, I've been arrested. I've been through several different things with family. I'm just your average, normal guy that found a niche inside of real estate, and I just put it to work. Okay. So I wanted to tell you my story because maybe you're in a place where you feel like you're just a regular person, or maybe you feel like you're stuck and you can't go somewhere. When I was feeling down, but I'm here to tell my story to you, to say, hey, look, you guys can do it. Literally anything that comes your way, you can handle it. That's what I tell myself. Anything that comes my way, I can handle it. God wants you to be abundant. Okay. God wants you to have much fruit. Okay. He wants you to have so much. All you got to do is want it for yourself. Okay. So look, we're doing our best to connect with 5,000 people, here on YouTube. So if you got this far, press subscribe, press the like button. Okay. And then watch the next video of how you can use real estate investing to make your first $5,000 check. Okay. You guys have an amazing day. And remember, you don't need all three: time, money, and knowledge to do your first deal. You just need two to do you. Peace.